Hello, my sewing friends. This is Friday Sews, and I'm Jen, and this is my sewing room. And Friday Sews means a little bit of sewing, a little bit of life, just kind of all mishmashed in there together. And I'm going to start out this week with life because I've had not a very good week. You know how sometimes you just have a day when you feel like you're fighting the world all day? Yeah, I usually will stop and go, I don't want to fight the world today. Yeah, well, this week it was fighting the week. Well, part of the problem was that every project I had, I kept running into roadblocks. You know, something would happen where it would stop me from being able to finish the project. So that brings me to the sewing. Well, let me start out with what I'm wearing, which is Simplicity 9107. I love this top. I made it from a bamboo sheet that we could not use on our bed anymore because it had started to, have little holes in it. So yeah, I just made a top out of it. Actually, I made two tops out of this. And I love it because, oh my gosh, can you see the way this moves? See? It's rayon bamboo. Beautiful. Just beautiful fabric. The only problem is it wrinkles too much and I'm always spilling things on myself because you can't take me anywhere. It's just a problem. So, okay, I wanted to tell you about that because I use textiles all the time that are unconventional. I use sheets, I use shower curtains, I use duvet covers, I use tablecloths. I use all kinds of stuff, and very often when I buy fabric secondhand. So I don't usually spend a lot of money on fabric. And I tell you that because you don't have to either. And also because I had a comment where someone commented about, using nice fabric and other people would love to have a nice piece of fabric. We have fabric all around us, everywhere. In our houses, in thrift stores, people give us things. Yeah, there is no shortage of fabric in the US. And far better that we take it and extend its life out to the point where we get every little last bit of use out of it. Okay, let's move on. I asked you this week, I put up a community post. I also did this on Instagram, and I asked you to vote on which fabrics I should use and in what combination for my next version of McCall's 7390. This time I'm going to make this version, which is View B. It has a little bit of a peplum. I made this before. I made View A, and I made it out of this fabric. I ran into some problems with it, some problems with the pattern, really. And I fixed them, and I filmed the way that I fixed them, but I went back to edit the footage, and you know what? It doesn't make any sense. I thought, you're getting what's going through my brain at the time, and I am notorious for not remembering that other people can't read my mind. So half the time they don't even know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I flunked Mind Reading 101, and I'm sure everybody else did too. So I thought I would refilm it with this new version of it. Now, the options I gave you were these three, and I chose this one, which was option number 2. It was so close between 2 and 3. And I appreciated every single comment where you gave me your opinion. I loved that because I am a person that can't make up my mind to save my life. So that really, really, really helped me. Thank you so, so, so much. Here are the two fabrics that I'm going to use. This obviously is going to be the very front and the skirt portion, lower bodice. And this is kind of the side bodice. And I show you this because this is a very old fabric in my stash. And you can tell because I used it when I made Christmas dresses. The very first year that my twins, they were almost 1. They turned 1 in January, right after Christmas. My twins are now 31 years old. And in fact, the older of the twins is now having a baby. So I just had to show you that because I saw the photo. I was running past some photos the other day and I thought, oh my gosh, has that been in my stash that long? Yes, it has. So that I worked on getting cut out. And then I moved on, and one of the problems that I ran up against this week was in making Simplicity 9390. I'm making this little onesie right here. And so here it is. First problem was, what am I going to use for the binding? Well, I'd figured that out. And so I cut some and I pinned it on, haven't sewn it on yet. And then I realized at the bottom of these onesies, you put snaps. So it's easy to change a diaper. You just unsnap it and pull it up and then you can do that. Well, I do not like snaps and hammering away to get them on. I have plenty of snaps. I've got one of those little squeezy things. You know what? If there's any opportunity for me to screw that up, I will. So I didn't want to deal with that. And I thought, snap tape. I used to use that all the time anyway. Well, here's the thing. At my house, I have a very limited time when I can go shopping because I have essentially given my car over to my daughter to use to drive back and forth to work. So she works all day. My husband works all day with the other car. I don't have any way to get anywhere. So I have to work with that and I just can't get out and get stuff all the time. So I had to wait until I could get out to get this. So I did finally get some snap tape. This stuff is so great because all you sew on is the tape. Snaps are already done for you. So that problem was solved, but these things build up in your brain and you're like, oh, how am I going to fix that? Well, another thing I worked on this week was Vogue 8876. This is a Marcy Tilton pattern. And I was so interested in making this. I used Drapery fabric, which is a huge, big, bold print. But the way that this is cut with all these seams, you kind of lose a sense of that big print. But that was okay with me because it was just, I don't know, it works. It works. Well, this is done two ways. One of the views has buttons, and these two views have a separating zipper, kind of like you put in a parka, like a jacket. And I thought, oh, I don't know about that because I don't know. I just didn't want to get that avant-garde, I guess. Not that that's not that much avant-garde. But anyway, I thought, no, I'll do buttons. Well, then I remembered that I hate making buttonholes on this machine. This machine has been giving me a little bit of trouble lately because I don't think it's forming a stitch as well as it could. Probably needs to be serviced. So I ended up playing around with it a lot, fiddling around with the tension and all of that. And I also knew that from time to time, this thing messes up buttonholes. And then I have to tear them out. And I just thought, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. Half buttons, it was fine. All I had to do was make the buttonholes and I just didn't want to do it. So I went back to the zipper and I thought, you know what? That is kind of cool. I don't know why I thought buttons were going to be better because that whole zipper thing makes this dress. So I had a zipper. You need a separating zipper. And so I have this zipper, which is one of those ones that you put in a coat and it zips either direction. Like it's got this tab on the bottom here, and then it's got a tab on the top. So you can zip it up or you can unzip it this way. Well, that's fine, but that wasn't what I wanted. I just wanted a separating zipper because you really need that in order to get in and out of the dress. So here's the dress. And I went finally when I got my snap tape and was able to get a separating zipper. So I've pinned it in, and I love the look of this because when I was going to do the buttons kind of got lost, in the print. But this line is so prominent. I love that. This also has kind of a drawstring at the neckline. You can kind of see right there. And I love that too. And I found some velvet ribbon that I had in my stash. So in order to put this in, I had to take the collar off. So that's okay, because I can put that right back on. No big deal. So I am excited about this dress. It is a little stiff, but I think that the pattern lends itself to that. It's got 2 pockets and all of these wonderful seams you can see. And they kind of even, like the back seam, even forms a little bit of a pleat. So I've tried it on and I love it. And I can't wait to just show it to you when it's done. That's gonna be great. So that was another little problem I ran into. Like, yeah, no. And then there was the whole problem of my portfolio dress, which I'm not even going to show you because it's still in pieces. I took it all apart and I've still got to deal with that. I don't like this idea of having like 3 or 4 things going at once. My brain can't do that. I like for things to be loose and kind of not scheduled, but I like to do one project at a time and finish it, because if I don't, I will never finish it. Are you like that? Yeah, you might be. Well, anyway, okay, so that was all the sewing. Last life thing. I have this little music box. It's very old. It used to be at my parents' house, and every time I would go there, I would walk in to my mom's china cabinet and I would get this out and I would take the lid off and play it. Because I have never heard the melody that this music box plays. Now, this is one of those little boxes that I think had like a poof with powder in it back, you know, in the 1950s. I think that maybe was what this was. I've done a little bit of research online, not much, but anyway, I thought, you know what? I bet you if I play this for you, I bet somebody will know what the tune is. So I'm going to play it for you, and I'm hoping that you will know what this tune is. Ready? You can tell that it's a melody and then it's a variation on the theme. If you have any idea what that is, please tell me. It has been a mystery to me for years. And by years, I mean since I was a teenager. And this is getting old. And you can tell by how slowly the music box is playing. You know, that I can just see the metal thing with the little, things inside, like music boxes are. So that is Friday Sews for this week. Not a whole lot to talk about, but you know, some weeks. I have been working on some other projects. I've got some DIY stuff to do this weekend, but I always need to come in here and just create. So let me know what you're up to this weekend. Are you creating in some other way that has nothing to do with sewing or textiles or needles or any of that? I would love to know. And so let me know what you're up to, and don't forget to check out all of the Friday Sewers, because you know, they're all wonderful. And you never know, you might find somebody you really like to watch. I've done that recently. So if you would like to be entertained endlessly by the whole host of Friday Sews that I've made in the past, just check this playlist right out over here. You know, there's a lot to see there. And let me leave you with this. Do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. It's something I want to do every single day, and I hope you do too.